Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today you join me at King's Golf Studio, the #1 golf venue in the UK, and I've got a video that I've wanted to do for quite a long time. I'm putting the brand new TaylorMade P790s, the 2021 iteration, against my gamers, the 2020 TaylorMade P770s, the sibling of the P790. Now what are we going to expect putting these up on the TrackMan here? Well, I would think although both being players' irons, the TaylorMade P790 does offer more forgiveness, and with that it has some stronger lofts. So I'm thinking it's going to go a little bit further, it's going to have maybe a little bit lower spin, but in terms of the feel, I don't think there's going to be too much difference. These irons look very, very similar. They really do. They're obviously a part of the same family, but the new P770, when being introduced, looks a lot more player ready. A lot of PGA Tour players actually have the P790 in their bag, but they have it with those long irons because with that new Speed Foam Air, it offers a lot of forgiveness and that sweet spot is slightly larger. With the sweet spot being slightly larger than the previous iteration and the P770, perhaps there'll be a tighter dispersion if you hit it out of the toe or out of the heel. Looking down at both of these clubs, I'll show you right now with the P790 on the right and the P770 on the left, you can see that the P770 is a more compact version of this club. The P790, more forgiving, has a little bit more offset, but is it that significant? I mean, no, not really. They are both player-friendly irons, meaning they are for those players that are probably between scratch and 15. The P790s can stretch a bit further, but in terms of difference, just a little bit more offset, but you can see they are both TaylorMade. Now I've got two 7-irons here with me today, and let's test them out right now on the launch monitor. Let's get the P790 7-iron first. I've hit this a lot and I absolutely love this club, I really do. But how will it compare to my actual gamers, the P770s? It's a lovely, lovely club. And when I hit it previously at my review, you haven't seen it, check it out. I'll put a little link just there for you. What I felt that the flight was a lot more like I was playing on tour. The previous P790, it was good, but there were some problems because, a weird thing to say, it went too far. There were some periods when if you hit it at the sweet spot, it would go miles. I had my 7-iron going about 210 yards at some point, and if I was consistently getting that, great, but I wasn't. What I had with this one, with the new iteration, is it was just performing a lot more consistently, and it was still going quite a long way. Wow, so as you can see there, I'll show you the data now. Now that one there has gone 195 yards for a 7-iron. I didn't swing it fast at 90 clubhead speed, but ball speed at 127, all really good data, but you can see that spin rate there at 5,000 is a little low. The loft of this 7-iron here is 30.5 degrees, exactly the same as the 2019 version as well. Now there is a big difference to the P770 because that is 33 degrees. And that's where you can see the spacing out here because TaylorMade are offering this P790 between scratch and someone off 25. The P770s, I wouldn't recommend to anyone above 10. And that's where you can see with that gap difference. The P790 does feel great, but again, it feels very, very similar to the P770. It's just with that sweet spot being slightly larger now with Speed Foam Air, if you do hit it, a little bit out the toe, a little bit out the heel, you're still gonna get some really nice feel to it. That was good, a little bit wipey, but that's still gone 190 yards with the spin going up now to 6,000 RPM, just because I wiped across it a little bit. But still going 6,000 RPM and still going 190 yards for a 7-iron. Again, I'm not hitting hard at 92 miles an hour clubhead speed. It's good, it's really, really good. I'm almost disappointed that I don't have these in my bag, but I do love the P770s. Let's quickly just now hit the P770 and see what my instant responses, comparing it to that P790, because feel of that one, I think big improvement to the previous iteration because it's a little bit too hot off the face. Is it going to feel exactly the same as the P770? I mean, I hope so because I don't want to replace them. That was good. Similar ball speeds, similar clubhead speed, good spin rate, and actually that's not too far off. So you can see there, that's pretty much a mirror image to the P790. The last one I hit there, because that was about 92, 129, 6,000 spin, and it's gone about 5 yards shorter actually, which I'm going to attribute down to those lofts. Those 2.5 degrees of lofts being different means the launch angle is slightly different as well. But those are really good numbers. That instant feel off the The club face, both of those are out the sweet spot from the P790 and the P770. The only difference that I can really notice from that is perhaps with the P790 being a bit thicker in its actual head, it feels slightly different, it feels a little bit more spongy. Now that could be down to the speed foam air, could down to me talking absolute nonsense, but it just feels like it's got a little bit more forgiveness when you hit it out of the actual sweet spot. It feels a bit larger, it feels a little spongier, but again, I'm being really picky. I'm being really picky. Oh, good one as well. That was a little left, I think. Yeah, a little left, but it's still traveling at a similar distance, but it's still down. So their carry is 177 with the total at 185, but those club head and ball speed numbers are pretty similar to the P790, which I'm not too surprised by. With the launch angle and lofts being different, it's always going to limit it in terms of the actual distance overall, and that's why I'm probably maxing out with this 7-iron. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it further than 185. I don't want to get it further than 185, but I have hit a few stinky ones. I hit one a little bit thin and one, I said already, a little bit out the toe and high on the club face, and it did mean that I was only hitting it about 170. What I find interesting with this is that it is so obvious that there is a clear difference here, because with the P790s, with what TaylorMade have said, they've literally said it's offering to such a broad handicap range from scratch to 25, that it's offering a little bit more forgiveness. And with those lower lofts as well, it means it goes a long way. I so far haven't really hit a bad shot with this one. Let's see if I can hit this one a little bit out of the toe maybe, and see what the results are. There you go, that one there was actually out of the toe, and that's actually gone really far. Okay, so I could feel that going out of the toe there, but it still felt like I was hitting it out of the sweet spot, and that's still gone 200 yards. Lower spin in comparison to the P790. P790 was going about 6,000, about 6,200. This here is about 1,000 RPM less, but it's between 5 to 6,000. 200 yards with a 7-iron. Again, similar numbers with that club speed at 90 and 130 ball speed. It shows that the P790 still go a long, long way, but it's now more compact in its dispersion. Rather than, let's say, the 7-iron before going 185 to 215 yards, this is now going between 190 and 200 yards for me, which is pretty good. And I don't feel like I'm ever really going to hit it off center because the sweet spot is now larger. The P770s is still a very, very good club. There's a reason why I've got it in my bag. It's because it suits me. I can work the ball left to right and right to left, and I feel very confident doing that. But it offers a little bit less forgiveness, and with that higher lofts as well, it's not really for those people who are wanting a lot of distance, because people who are usually off scratch to zero aren't looking for a club that gets them an extra 10 or 20 yards. Perhaps if you're off that handicap and you're slightly older, 40, 50, 60, and you need an extra distance, P790s, spot on. But the P770s aren't really for that. I think it's more for that, not tour player, but I guess that person doesn't need an extra distance, just wants a really nice club that they can shape and just has a really nice feel. Yeah, so 180 yards, spin, that's 6,500. For me, it's very clear what the difference is between these two irons, the P790 and the P770. With the P770 being a sibling to the P790, with this being the third iteration, now the P790 for the 2021 version has made a lot more improvements. Even comparing it to last year with this one here, it's now got speed foam air, they've made the sweet spot slightly larger, they've changed the design a little bit. So there are some improvements in the P790 that I actually wish the P770 had. But which one do you guys want to choose? If you're looking at this video thinking, I don't know which club to choose, well, let me answer that. If you're someone who wants a little bit more distance with your irons, who would like a little bit more distance with your irons, instantly it goes towards these P790s, because with those stronger lofts, with the new speed foam air, it means that you're probably consistently going to hit this club further than your current gamers. The P770s with those more traditional lofts, albeit with a very modern design, isn't made for someone who's looking to absolutely bomb a 7-iron 200 yards. Now with the P790s, with that new speed foam air, it means it does have a significantly larger sweet spot than the 2019 iteration of the P790s, and it also means it has a much larger sweet spot than the P770. So that's why that broad handicap range of 0 to 25 is what TaylorMade say about this club. But that doesn't mean that it's made for someone who's off 25, and it doesn't mean if you're off 2, 3 or 4, you should be looking straight towards the P770. Because if you are someone who is, let's say, between that 0 to 10 handicap range, but one of your problems with golf is your ball striking, then the P790s are for you. Whereas if you are someone like myself, I don't mean to be arrogant, who feels like they have pretty decent ball striking and actually wants to work the ball both ways, the P770, this one here, will be the club that you guys should gain. I think this has given a pretty good basis as to the difference between the P770s and the P790s. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions with this. I've showed you guys data. The difference here is that the 7.9 of the P790 goes about 190 to 200 yards. With the P770, it goes about 180 to 185 yards. So you can see that there's a gap there because of the loft and also because of the speed foam air. If you guys have enjoyed this video today, leave a like down below and let me know what you think about this type of comparison video. Would you like to see more of them? Let me know what you guys want me to compare, because I've got quite a few clubs and I'd love to do a few more of these here at Kings Golf. If you guys are new to the GolfMagic YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below to keep up to date with all of our videos. From comparisons, reviews, there's a lot of reviews coming out very, very soon, but reviews, you name it, we've got it to keep you guys entertained for all of 2021. I will see you guys at the next video.